Yo, Axel here, and welcome to the Kujou Sara guide. So Kujou Sara is like an Electro Bennett. Kujou Sara basically buffs your character's attack, similar to how Bennett buffs his teammates. So today, I am going to be showing you guys how to use Kujou Sara in the most efficient way possible. So for example, as you guys can see over here with Xiao's attack, Xiao has about 2.2k attack, as you guys can see right there. Now, if we switch over to Kujou Sara and then use her elemental skill, and then aim at the ground. Let that Xiao take that. Now Xiao's attack is now 2.7k. So yeah, what Kujou Sara basically does is buff her character's attack, like I said earlier, which is similar to Bennett. So as you guys can see over here, Kujou Sara's attack buff mainly scales on Kujou Sara's base attack. So as you guys can see there, it grants the character within its AoE or area of effect an attack bonus which is based on Kujou Sara's base attack. Now what I mean by base attack is this white number over here, 685 base attack. This green number 475 does not count as a base attack. So the base attack of Kujou Sara is mainly made out of two things. One which is Kujou Sara's character level, and the second one which is Kujou Sara's weapon level. So if you want to build as much base attack as possible to get the maximum amount of attack buff, you would want to level up Kujou Sara's weapon to level 90 and her character level all the way to level 90 as well, to get the maximum amount of base attack for the maximum amount of damage bonus. So yeah, now for the artifacts, I am using the 2-piece Thundering Fury and the 2-piece Gladiators. This artifact set is mainly used so that Kujou Sara gives out some damage as well, but I am not building Kujou Sara as a main DPS. This Kujou Sara's build is still going to be a support build. I just included the 2-piece Thundering and the 2-piece Gladiators so that Kujou Sara's skill and burst gets more damage, so that this way Kujou Sara can give more damage while buffing the team at the same time. Now I do also want to mention that Kujou Sara's burst also gives us an attack buff. So as you guys can see over here with Xiao, so right now Xiao's attack is about 2.2k attack. Now if we switch over to Kujou Sara and use her burst
Storm the front
and switch back to Xiao, Xiao will then get the attack buff. Now Xiao has again 2.7k attack from the attack buff from Kujou Sara's burst. So Kujou Sara's burst also does give us some attack buff, so you do want to keep that in mind as well. Now I am going to explain Kujou Sara's constellation, mainly her C6. So if you have an Electro character that you really like, which is your main DPS, then Kujou Sara's C6 would be perfect for that, since Kujou Sara's C6 will basically give that Electro character a 60% more crit damage whenever Kujou Sara gives an attack buff to that specific character. So if you have an Electro character like Keqing will then gain a 60% more crit damage from Kujou Sara's attack buff. So if you get Kujou Sara to C6, she will be very valuable. But do take note that this is only in effect on Electro characters. Other characters like Xingqiu, Xiao, which is a Hydro, and Anemo will not get the same effect with the 60% crit damage, since those characters are not Electro. So yeah, which basically means Kujou Sara's C6 is only good for Electro characters. So you do have to consider that as well. Now I do want to explain Kujou Sara's C2. Kujou Sara's C2 is basically good since it is very convenient. For example, you switch to Kujou Sara, when you tap E, you don't have to aim the bow and shoot on the ground anymore. That mark will automatically appear. So you don't have to press E and charge shot to get this mark anymore. So basically with C2, you just press E, switch to your character, and then you get that attack buff without having to charge shot to the ground, which is very good for convenience. So you do also want to take Kujou Sara's C2 into consideration as well. Now Kujou Sara also has a passive skill which basically decreases Kujou Sara's charge attack cooldown by 60%, which is also pretty good. And she also has another passive which will give energy particles to party members based on her energy recharge, which is also pretty good. So if you want to make Kujou Sara a battery, you would just need to build her energy recharge, get as much energy recharge into Kujou Sara as much as possible to make Kujou Sara a battery for your team comp. Now for Kujou Sara's weapon, I have here the Fading Twilight. This weapon's pretty good on Kujou Sara since it has that 27.9 energy recharge, which is good for keeping Kujou Sara's burst uptime. Since Kujou Sara's burst also gives us an attack buff, this weapon will be good for Kujou Sara as well. Now with Kujou Sara as a support unit, you mainly want to focus on her skill and then on her burst, since that is where Kujou Sara shines the most, is her attack buff. You would only want to level up her normal attacks if you're planning on making her a main DPS, like for example a physical main DPS. Like for me, for example, I have this at level 8 since I tried to make Kujou Sara a physical DPS, since you know Kujou Sara's she's a waifu, and you know I like to make my waifus a main DPS. But in my experience, Kujou Sara as a physical main DPS, she's really not that much viable. But if you just want to play her for fun, then yeah, that's on you. So for comparison, this is how much damage my Xiao can do without Kujou Sara's attack buff.
Rain outlines your fate. Witness the power of Gugwa. Evil conquering.
Let's activate the burst. We're averaging about 26k, 28k,
Worthless.
29k. Yeah. So the highest damage we got out of there was about 29k damage. Okay, so now this is how much damage Xiao can do with Kujou Sara's buff. Attack buff. So let me just break the shield.
Let me weave you a verse.
Use the Kujou Sara, use your burst.
No turning back.
The attack buff.
Lament.
And burst. 32k. 7k.
Cheer. Cheer.
Okay, so the highest we got was 32k, I think. So yeah, I think that's a pretty huge leap from 29k to 32k. So yeah, that is pretty good. Now I also do want to mention, whenever you use Kujou Sara's skill and then you hit opponents, it will give energy particles, as like there. So yeah, again, if you use her elemental skill and then it hits an opponent like that, it will give out elemental particles just like that. But if you shoot it at the ground just like this and it doesn't hit any opponents or enemies, you won't be getting any energy particles. So you do have to keep that in mind. And again, this is going to be your rotation with Kujou Sara. So you use Kujou Sara's E.
Quiver.
Then you hit an opponent. Got the opponent. And then get the attack buff. And then attack with your main DPS. And you switch back to Kujou Sara. Use her burst.
Glory to the Shogun.
And get the attack buff again. And there, you have the attack buff, 2.7k. So yeah, those are the basic rotations when it comes to using Kujou Sara. And then again, like I said earlier, it would be great to get her C2 so that you don't have to do this anymore. Aim at the ground and get that. So yeah, C2 would be good for Kujou Sara if you want something more convenient like that. So yeah, so that is pretty much it for this guide video. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section, and if you guys have any recommendations on what I should do a build guide on next. So yeah. And again, if you guys have any recommendations, any characters you would like me to make a video on.
The duty of a Tengu warrior is to watch over the mountains and forests.
If you guys have any recommendations on which I should do a guide on next, you guys can just comment it down below. And I would really appreciate it if you guys hit the like button, because that really helps out a lot with the YouTube channel and with the YouTube algorithm. And if you guys are somehow new to this channel, you might want to consider subscribing if you want to see more content like this, guide content, educational content, with Genshin and stuff. I also do damage showcases in case you guys are...
foe takes unity between mind, arrow, and bow.
I also make damage showcases if you guys are interested in that as well as guide videos, damage showcases, and just overall Genshin in general. So if you guys are interested in videos like those, I would really appreciate it if you go ahead and subscribe and hit the notification bell if you don't want to miss out on the latest videos. So yeah, and that's pretty much it for this guide video, and as always, see you in the next video.